human remains that were found at the bottom of this lake on the mountain.
We have the remains from something like 600 to 800 human individuals.
Apart from what drifts with the flow and appears before our eyes, there exists a world filled with prehistoric secrets.
These are dinosaur prints that scientists say are more than 100 million years old, usually covered with water.
Whether it's the lost civilizations discovered in dried-up riverbeds, ancient castles surfacing from deep waters, or the mysterious artifacts waiting to be found.
And here it is. Looks like a giant footprint.
Hang on to witness the extraordinary discoveries that will take you to another world.
It was 2,500 Australian dollars in this wallet.
Mystery of Lakerupan.
Riverb Lake is a place high up in the Himalayan mountains in the northern part of India. Other than the fact that we have thousands of human bones scattered around the shores of this lake.
High in the Himalayan mountains, there was a Rupkund lake that stayed frozen most of the year. When the ice finally melted, thousands of human bones appeared around the shore. Locals had seen them before, but no one knew why they were there. Some of the bones even came from faraway places. Experts believe these people might have been on a pilgrimage. According to a local legend, a goddess grew angry with them and caused fatal hailstorms. Whatever the truth, the mystery of the bones continues to remain around the lake.
We have the remains from something like 600 to 800 human individuals.
Dinosaur Tracks.
These are dinosaur prints that scientists say are more than 100 million years old, usually covered with water.
During a historic drought, the Biloxi River near Fort Worth began to dry up. To everyone's surprise, it revealed ancient footprints over 100 million years old. The prints belonged to Sauroposeidon, a massive dinosaur that stood 60 feet tall. They stretched across 300 yards of the riverbed. But these prints might not last because the river could flood again at any moment. Scientists worked quickly to document their discovery, making it a rare, once-in-a-lifetime event.
They seem like they're in stone and they're forever, but they're not. Just the next flood we have, they could be all gone.
The Biggest Jackpot.
Dad.
Oh dear.
What if I told you a 15-year-old accidentally stumbled upon a jackpot while magnet fishing? He cast a heavy magnet into the River Wyddham, hoping for a good catch. First, he pulled up a big pulley, nothing too exciting. But then, the magnet caught something huge in a sealed safe. Inside, he found 2 wallets. One held just a note, but the other was with 2,500 Australian dollars and British pounds. It turned out the safe had been stolen 22 years ago. The crazy part? The businessman who had lost it never expected to get it back until now. His next find? Just a big piece of metal. It's hard to believe a simple magnet could uncover such a treasure.
Like jaw dropping, it was 2,500 Australian dollars in this wallet.
U.S. Army equipment recovered.
No way, what? Bulletproof plates! Oh, shit.
You might think fishing rods are just for catching fish, but magnet fishing brings unexpected surprises. A group of fishermen were fishing near an old military base when they pulled up practice rockets, artillery shells, and a rusty flare. But the biggest shock came when they found a bag filled with rockets, some used and some new. The discovery quickly went viral, and this, for the very first time, resulted in a bad fortune for the group. They got into trouble for fishing in a restricted area and were fined.
First off, you can't fish from the bridge. You can't fishing. Hold up. You're magnet fishing, right?
Similarly, at another spot, a fisher pulled up a heavy object, and it turned out to be a rusted minigun. They both handed over their discoveries to the authorities, where they examined them carefully.
It looks like a mushroom.
Drought uncovers ancient artifacts. As the Yangtze River dried up, a stunning sight emerged. 3 ancient statues of monks, carved with remarkable detail, appeared from the riverbed. Sitting there, perfectly preserved, they seem to have been silently watching over time itself. It's amazing to think how long they stayed hidden beneath the water, waiting to be discovered. These statues now connect the researcher to a world long gone. Ancient Spanish Stonehenge. What if I told you that an ancient mystery, hidden for decades, reappeared because of a drought? In Spain, the worst drought in years revealed something amazing: the Spanish Stonehenge. It had been submerged since 1963 when a development project caused the flooding. Discovered in 1926, it dates back over 5,000 years. As the drought became severe, cracks spread across the earth, bringing the stones back into view. It was a rare chance to explore the past before the waters return and swallow it whole. Ancient city.
Fishermen here have been telling us about the erratic water levels that they've seen in many years. The water went to the lowest level a few months ago.
A drought in northern Iraq revealed dry land. As the water in the Mosul Dam dropped, the ruins of Kemune appeared. This city was once part of the powerful Mitanni Empire. Archaeologists from Germany and Kurdistan quickly began to explore the site. They found clay tablets, colorful murals, and mosaic walls. These discoveries told the story of a lost world, but with rising water levels, Kemune was in threat of being hidden once again. Working quickly, the team may have made sure to capture every detail for future generations. Skeleton with long boots.
You are kind of blown away because it is a man, it's a skeleton lying there, boots on, and that's all you can see at first sight. There's nothing else.
An archaeologist working near the River Thames made what seemed like an ordinary discovery until they noticed something unusual. Buried for over 500 years, a skeleton lay undisturbed. But what stood out were the leather boots it still wore. Despite the passage of time, the boots remained remarkably intact. This rare find immediately caught the attention of another archaeologist who took a closer look. They carefully examined the boots in the lab. What they uncovered wasn't just a typical discovery. It turned out to be something no one could have imagined.
There are ridges in the top of the leather, so this is where the skeleton, the feet, the bone have imprinted onto the leather.
Lost Castle. What if I told you that when the waters of the Euphrates River in Turkey began to fall, an eerie structure emerged? No one knew what it was at first, but as the water continued to decrease, Haystack Castle was revealed. It had been hidden underwater for almost 50 years. Built into solid rock, it had rooms and narrow passages that let in light and air. These features might have helped protect it from enemies long ago. Historians and locals were amazed. Haystack Castle's sudden reappearance shows us that history can surprise us when we least expect it. Drought exposes Thai temple. In Thailand, something unusual happened. The Wat Nong WWII temple, submerged for 20 years, reappeared as a severe drought lowered water levels. Among the ruins, a massive 13-foot Buddha statue stood tall, revealing a glimpse of the temple's former significance. Though it briefly surfaced in 2015, rising waters quickly hit it again. Now, with the reservoir at less than 3% of its capacity, the temple stands were revealed again. Casino Riverboat. As the Mississippi River hit historic lows, an unusual sight appeared along its banks. At first, it was hard to make out. Soon, the shape of a massive riverboat appeared. It was stuck in the mud. The boat had once been a popular casino. Over time, it might have been abandoned and slowly sank, overtaken by storms and rising waters. As the water level dropped, locals wondered what other forgotten relics might have surfaced. What was once full of life now stood as a haunting reminder of a lost era. Ancient sword. Can you think of finding an object straight out of a legend? Well, that's exactly what happened with an 8-year-old girl. As she waded through the lake in southern Sweden, she came across a sword. It was all buried underwater and measured around 33 inches. This amazing find reminded locals of King Arthur's legend, where he received his sword from the Lady of the Lake. Well, I must say she was lucky enough to bring this sword to the world. Italian village. In the Italian Alps, a rare sight appeared when Lake Rasia was drained for the first time in years. The bell tower of Curon, a village submerged in 1950 for a hydroelectric project, suddenly came into view. For decades, only the top of the tower had poked out above the water. But now, as the water levels dropped, more of the village was revealed. One man even explored the area where people once lived. It was a spooky, brief look at a town lost to time, but it won't last long. Soon, it will be covered by the water again. Ruins of ancient Roman fort. You wouldn't believe what drone footage recently found in Spain. An ancient Roman fort, Castro Candice, had been hidden beneath a reservoir for decades, but as water levels dropped, the fort slowly emerged from the depths. For years, its streets and walls lay submerged, forgotten by time. Now, the ruins stood exposed, an eerie sight that seemed almost out of place. At first, it was a fascinating discovery, but soon, the truth became clear. Spain was facing its driest year yet, with reservoirs at a shocking 35% capacity. Experts warned that climate change could soon turn large parts of the country into deserts. Hunger stones. You might have heard about the drought in the Czech Republic, but what you might not know is the crazy thing that came to view. Ancient stones with inscriptions. As the river dried up, a stone called the Hunger Stone appeared, one that had been hidden for centuries. Researchers were excited, but the drought was causing more than just a discovery. Crops were failing, and food prices were rising all across Europe. And here's the shocking part. A study showed that droughts today are much worse than those in the past, and they're only expected to get worse in the future.
We do everything we can to ensure that these families, that these communities, that these towns get from now until then.
World War II Treasure.
Sulla sponda del fiume Po a causa dell'abbassamento del livello delle acque dovuto alla siccità.
During one of the worst droughts they've had in years, something surprising came up from the riverbed. On July 25th, near the town of Borgo Virgilio, the Italian army found a huge World War II bomb. It weighed about 1,000 pounds. The army acted quickly to secure the area and handle the bomb carefully. It had to be transported with extreme caution, as one wrong move could have led to serious consequences. Once in a secure area, the army triggered the device with a controlled detonation. The sound echoed, but fortunately, everything went as planned, and the operation concluded safely. For those observing, it was a tense few moments. World War II Shipwrecks.
U svim mestima, i Rumuni i Bugari su bili na strani I da otprilike ovde doplovilo negde do 200 brodova.
Sunken WWII German warships appeared on the Danube River, still carrying explosives and blocking the waterway. Europe's worst drought in years caused the water levels to drop. Finding these wrecks near Serbia's Prahovo, the ship, which was sunk in 1944 during the Nazi retreat, now posed a threat to the environment. As the river narrowed, it became harder for boats to pass through. What seemed like an interesting find quickly turned into a more serious situation. To stop a big problem, the Serbian government might have started a major operation to clear the wreck. Cars dumped in Reservoir.
Seems to have been a dumping ground for joyriders or other people up to no good. This is a non-operational reservoir. It's never been used for.
The Glen Dam Reservoir near Paisley held a surprising secret under its surface for the officials. It was the abandoned cars. These cars were dumped in the 1990s by joyriders and remained there until in 2022 they caught the attention of authorities. Even though the reservoir didn't supply drinking water, authorities decided to act. They brought in cranes, pulled each car out, and checked them for safety. Once inspected, the cars were scrapped. Finally, the reservoir was clear, and people could feel safe knowing the hidden hazards were gone.
We've been drawing the reservoir down in the last couple of weeks. On a daily basis, the Ayrshire Rivers Trust have been electrofishing.
Polish river reveals secrets. A shocking discovery was made in Poland's Vistula River. Due to a severe drought, the water level dropped so low that hidden treasures from centuries ago were revealed. Archaeologists were excited to discover these items. They were carefully placed on a trailer and lifted by a crane for safekeeping. Among the finds were artifacts from 1656, when the Swedes tried to steal them during an invasion. The discoveries included stone slabs, pieces of fountains, and columns. These items hold incredible history, but where will they go next? They are likely being taken to national museums or those focusing on Polish history. Roman ruins in Tyber River.
The Pons Neronianus, or the Bridge of Nero, was built probably by either the Emperor Nero, who it's called after, or the Emperor Caligula.
Beneath the Tyber River in Rome lies an ancient secret, hidden for centuries. This year, something amazing happened. A big drought dropped the river's water levels. For the first time in centuries, the old foundations of a bridge were revealed. Built by Nero or Caligula, the bridge once connected Campus Martius to Nero's Circus, near St. Peter's Square. Destroyed in the 5th century, it sank into the river and was lost. Now, after over 1,000 years, the foundations have reappeared. It's a rare sight which people don't want to miss. Tunnel in Euphrates River. Finding something connected to the Euphrates River was a big surprise, and this explorer got it. He was looking at the river, not expecting to see anything strange, but as he looked closer, he spotted a strange opening on the water's surface. When he checked it out, he found a deep tunnel carved into the rock. The edges were smooth, shaped by water over the years. Was it an ancient passage or something more threatening? Whatever it was, it sparked a growing sense of dread. He couldn't wait to uncover the secrets hidden within that tunnel. Hyrum Reservoir Graveyard.
Out there is shown up along the shore of Hyrum Reservoir.
Low water levels, of course, are revealing more than a dozen cars that were dumped there in the 50s.
Fish washed ashore, but this time, something much darker appeared like a scene from a horror movie. At Hyrum Reservoir, once a calm and peaceful place, the water started to drop. Dozens of old cars were revealed. They had been dumped there in the 1950s. At first, the rusted cars seemed like forgotten relics of the past, but as the water went down, the sight of them became more creepy. The cars, now visible, seemed to pose a real threat. They might be connected to an old tragic accident. Hidden beneath the water, they stayed out of sight. And now, the truth might be coming to the surface. 400-year-old bridge. After centuries of being hidden, something remarkable has resurfaced from the depths of Poyang Lake in Jiangxi Province, China. A 400-year-old bridge, stretching over 1,600 meters and supported by 949 piers, is now visible. Can you believe it? This rare sight appeared when the water levels dropped below 10.5 meters. The drop was caused by an extended period of heat. Locals were amazed how this could happen. For anyone needing to cross, it's good news if you can find a way to get there. Bridge from Ming Dynasty. On March 1st, 2017, Xianu Lake in Xinyu City revealed a hidden treasure. Can you guess what it was? As the water levels dropped, locals noticed stone arches rising from the depths. It turned out to be an ancient bridge from the Ming Dynasty. This bridge was 384 meters long with 11 stone arches. Back in 1958, a dam flooded the area, submerging the bridge under the lake. But during the dry seasons, the water decreases and the bridge reappears. Its design and craftsmanship still shine, even centuries later. For a brief moment, history rose from the lake, connecting us to the past. Old Mexican Church.
Meanwhile, in Mexico, check this out. The ruins of a 16th century church believed to have been built by Spanish colonists has recently surfaced from receding reservoir waters of the southern state of Chiapas.
In Chiapas, Mexico, a severe drought caused water levels to drop by 80 feet. As the water decreased, something holy appeared. But what? A 16th century church. Built by Dominican friars in 1564, the church had been submerged for years, almost forgotten. Now its weathered stone walls rise from the water. Local legends say it was built to convert the Zokwe people, but other rumors speak of treasures and secrets buried within. The church may be hiding even more beneath its ancient stones. What's discovered next could change everything. Hartford Union Canal. In January, East London was drained for repairs. For the first time in 20 years, volunteers came together to clean it up. They walked through thick mud. They pulled out all kinds of strange finds. There were old tires, bikes, there were safes, a sword, and little ceramic animals, like horses and polar bears. Some items looked like they were thrown in out of anger or boredom. These forgotten objects tell the story of the people who lived by the canal and the things they left behind. Magnet fishing jackpot.
Oh, the maggot's here.
They're all stuck together.
Oh, yeah.
In January, a group of magnet fishers made an amazing discovery in Northamptonshire, UK, while searching a muddy canal near Weedon Beck. At first, their magnets pulled up a magazine, then parts of a gun, and it didn't stop there. One by one, 6 Walkie-Bautu Sten guns surfaced from the water. Can you imagine? 6 complete guns, still in good condition after all these years. Likely handed over to a museum. This was a discovery they'll never forget. Roman Ghost Village. The haunting remains of a forgotten village, Aqueredo, a village in Spain's Galicia region, was flooded in 1992 to create the Alto Lindoso Reservoir. Now, with the water level at just 15%, the village has started to reappear. Tourists came in to see the eerie ruins, broken roofs, fallen bricks, and wooden beams scattered everywhere. It's as if time has stopped. Nature has slowly taken back what it once covered. Would you dare to visit a place meant to be lost forever? Old mining town. Walking through a town no one has seen for years. Just think about it. That's exactly what's happening in California. Mormon Island was once considered one of the busiest mining towns, but the Folsom Dam flooded the area. At its peak, more than 2,500 residents lived there. Now, a drought has lowered the water levels. Old roads, buildings, and foundations are coming back into view. It's like the past is coming alive. And who knows? There could be more forgotten secrets buried down there, waiting to be discovered. Remains found in Lake Mead.
Glasses, keys, wallets, there's been all kinds of things just kind of wash up.
Tons of pretty rocks, nice shells, and stuff like that.
As Lake Mead continues to dry up due to climate change, strange discoveries from the past are resurfacing. But this time, it was something truly unbelievable. 2 paddleboarders exploring the shoreline came across what seemed like bones. At first, they thought they were just animal remains. But as they looked closer, the horrifying truth became clear. These were human skeletal remains. Locals believe the incident might have happened in the late 70s or early 80s. Once a hub for gangsters, the area is now revealing dark secrets. Investigators may be working to identify the victim. More shocking discoveries might surface soon.
I thought it was bighorn sheep at first, and as we discovered more and more bones, especially the jawbone, we realized this is definitely human.
Bison skull.
Bison skull I have ever found. I found a couple of juveniles.
Just outside downtown Kansas City, fishermen on the Missouri River made an incredible discovery. On the muddy riverbank, they spotted a massive skull exposed by the low waters. A paleontologist confirmed it was the fossil of an ancient bison, a species that roamed over 10,000 years ago and was much larger than today's bison. The fossil was remarkably well preserved, offering scientists a rare glimpse into the region's ancient past. This discovery was made possible by the changing river levels.
Oh my goodness, look at the spread on those horns.
Mammoth Remains. For years, we've heard stories about fossils found in some of the places on Earth most people never go to. But once a fossil hunter in Alaska found a huge tusk and a 400-pound mammoth skull in a river. It wasn't easy. He had to deal with tricky cliffs and sand to get the skull. After 2 tough days, he finally got it. But his journey wasn't over. He spent 3 more weeks living off the land before taking the fossils to a museum. To him, fossil hunting isn't just a hobby. It's his way of life, preserving ancient treasures for everyone to see. Giant human footprint.
And here it is. Looks like a giant footprint.
At the South San Gabriel River, famous for its dinosaur footprints, an explorer made a surprising find. While walking along the riverbank, he spotted a huge human footprint in the sand, right next to the ancient tracks. He compared it to his foot. It was much bigger than any human foot. Could it be from a Nephilim giant? As he looked closer, another footprint appeared, more faded and worn. These giant footprints suggest something truly extraordinary once walked this land. Maybe it was alongside dinosaurs.
And here it is. Looks like a giant footprint.
Ancient Indian artifacts.
This is pretty awesome. I don't care if there was a stick.
While exploring the river, the adventurer noticed the riverbank being washed away by flooding. Under the bank, quartz arrowheads and other ancient tools were scattered. Using a small sifter, the adventurer began scooping up gravel and stones. While digging through the mud, his fingers brushed against a smooth stone etched with unusual markings. Curious, he kept going and uncovered more. A sharp-edged stone, a flat grinding tool, and a quartz scraper partially hidden in the dirt. Within an hour, a whole collection of tools emerged, hinting at a long-lost civilization that once thrived along the river's edge.
I do definitely have to get down a little deeper in the mud, though, because going in it with my fingers, I can feel the stuff that I'm not going to get with my scraper.
Gold in dried river.
Every target today, because no matter what the target is, if it's a metal item, a good chance there can be some flood gold in with it.
A local prospector headed upstream, chasing the dream of striking gold. Hours of panning yielded only small nuggets, but then something caught his eye in a deep crevice behind some rocks. Out came the metal detector, and after some digging, he found a few gold flecks mixed with lead. Then, jackpot! A solid chunk of gold near the riverbank. After a long day's work, he packed up, headed home, and weighed his prize. Over 4 grams. Not too shabby, right? It was a hard-earned reward, but moments like this make the hunt totally worth it.
Got a piece of gold, let me show you. Not real big, but a nice chunky piece.
Horned crocodile.
Some people see crocodiles as this animal that's unchanging through time.
While exploring a cave in Madagascar, a researcher and her team carefully searched the dark area, hoping to find something hidden. After half an hour, she saw it, a skull preserved submerged deep in water. She realized it belonged to the extinct horned crocodile, a species once thought to be the Nile crocodile. She carefully took a sample from the skull, hoping to study its DNA. This rare find could help scientists understand the horned crocodile's place in crocodile evolution.
So one of the big questions is, what was that crocodile? Who were its relatives? And what happened to it?
Unicorn skull. Unbelievable discoveries can blur the line between reality and myth. A local was digging in his backyard when he hit something hard. Brushing away the dirt, he found a spiral-shaped bone that looked like a horn. Curious, he pulled it out, knowing it was something amazing, the upper half of a unicorn's head. Even though it was old, it still looked magical, like it came from a forgotten legend. Maybe most of the creature had rotted away, leaving only this part behind. This discovery has amazed everyone, making people wonder if legends are more than just stories. 90-million-year-old fish.
Along the Missouri River, a fossil. It appears to be a 90-million-year-old fish.
You won't believe what happened during a fishing tournament near Gavin's Point on the Missouri River. A fisherman noticed something unusual in the water, but what could it be? At first, he thought it was just a bone, but he shared it online. Experts identified it as a 90-million-year-old fossil from an ancient sea creature. This rare find, hidden under the river, turned a regular fishing trip into something unforgettable. It seemed like a normal day on the water became a historic moment.
You know, like I just caught something 90 million years ago that has never been seen by a human eye.
Drought surviving fish. Can you believe an aquatic could be found on dry land? In Ghana, locals were digging in the sand when they made an unexpected discovery. Buried deep in the earth were creatures covered in a cocoon-like shell. These creatures can live for up to 3.5 years without food. During that time, they burrow into the mud and wait for better conditions. Just like animals that hibernate, these creatures are lungfish. They can even grow small legs to help them survive on land. It's a wild survival trick from nature. The Long U Caves. In 1992, a farmer in Zhejiang province, China, discovered something amazing while draining a pond. Beneath the water, he revealed a hidden network. 24 massive caves now known as the Long U Caves. These caves were carved by hand more than 2,000 years ago and are full of complicated details. The walls have patterned carvings and huge stone pillars support the ceilings. Artifacts found within add to the mystery. What's truly puzzling, though, is how nearly 1 million cubic meters of rock were removed and where it all went. The carvings of animals and ancient stories continue to amaze everyone who studies them. Mummified Crocs. The tomb had been hidden for centuries, safeguarding ancient secrets. In 2019, paleontologists began an excavation at Kubit al-Hawa in Egypt. As they continued their dig, they came across an astonishing find. Buried deep in the sand were mummified crocodiles, preserved for over 2,500 years. These were not just animals, they were sacred offerings to Sobek, the Egyptian god of fertility. The crocodiles revealed how ancient Egyptians linked nature with their gods. The role of spiritual practices in connecting with nature became clear. With this discovery, we got a rare look at the ancient rituals they followed. Park Cum Lake. Do you want to visit a place that is like paradise? Let me tell you about a group of tourists in Austria's Styria region who encountered something beyond their wildest expectations. At first, it looked like a calm valley surrounded by towering mountains, a perfect, peaceful spot. But as they walked further, the view began to change. The paths ahead weren't just paths anymore. They were underwater, with trees glowing in a crystal clear green color. What they had found was no ordinary spot. It was the Green Lake. It is a stunning transformation, showing just how remarkable nature can be. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. Guess what? In Paris, they cleaned out the Canal Saint-Martin for the first time in 15 years, and they found some wild stuff. They pulled out all kinds of things, like old fish, carpets, suitcases, bikes, street signs, and even tons of bottles. It was like a hidden treasure of forgotten things from the past. As the workers pulled more items from the water, they couldn't help but wonder what a strange journey that led them to their watery graves.